Hey everyone, Kaitlin here. Welcome back to another episode of Baldwin Breakdowns, where we're looking at big concepts, big ideas, and lots of big feelings. And you may have noticed that there's been a big gap between this episode and the last one. Part of that was intentional because I took the month of December off from all like the extra social media stuff that I do. But then in January, I got COVID when I was in Peru and I was stuck there quarantining for a couple extra weeks. So that's why there's been a longer delay than I expected. But from this point forward, I'm going to be releasing Baldwin Breakdowns episodes every other Friday rather than every week. And so it'll be on opposite weeks as the podcast episodes. So if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and subscribe or follow along with The Fight With Our Feelings on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else that you can get podcasts. Yeah, and so for today, our topic is attachment injuries. So just very generally, attachment injuries happen when we have an expectation from birth that a loved one or an attachment figure will comfort us, support us, love us when we need them to. So that's kind of an expectation that we have from birth, and we are hardwired with a biological attachment system. So when that expectation is not met, when we're not met with comfort, love, or support in times when we need it, then these kind of injuries or like ruptures can happen with our attachment system. So just to go through some basic pieces, or not basic, the main points of attachment theory, coming from, again, that like biological basis for attachment, there are three main things that we're all programmed to do or expect. So first is that we attempt to maintain proximity to an attachment figure. And so from childhood, this is more often than not a mother, but this happens throughout the lifespan. And so this can include not only relatives and major caregivers like our parents, but it can also include friends, and it can include partners. We can continue to develop attachment figures throughout our lifespan. And so from birth, we attempt to maintain proximity to them. So often in childhood, we'll see this proximity as more physical. So you'll see, kids, babies, or toddlers always wanting to be in very close physical proximity with their parents or with whatever attachment figures they have. As we get older, sometimes often we'll understand that the physical proximity isn't always as important or isn't always possible. And so in that case, we'll still want physical proximity, but we'll also want emotional proximity. And so in today's day and age, that might be like texting back and forth, or talking often through social media or whatever. And more than that, the tone and the words and the emojis and stuff that we use in communicating with each other all give us indicators of that emotional proximity that we have. The second thing is that we use that person or those people, those attachment figures, as a secure base. And so this is founded a long time ago in studies where they would have infants in a room with their parents or their mom. And when they felt like they had that secure base there, so when the kid would look around and be like, oh, okay, mom's here, that child then felt way more confident to explore and to navigate a new situation. And this, just like everything else, continues to happen through adulthood. So we will feel more comfortable and more confident to explore, to challenge ourselves, to try new things if we have a secure base. If we have a person that we know we can kind of look back to and be supported and comforted by. And then the third part of our attachment system that all of us have is that when we are in distress, when we're experiencing physical pain, emotional pain, like stress, anxiety, sadness, anything challenging, we want to seek refuge in that person. And so for us, safety is a lot less about a physical place and much more so about a person or people that we can trust and feel comforted by. So those are the three main components of attachment. or attachment theory. And so it kind of follows that injuries that can happen with an attachment are things that go directly against the three components of this system. So some really common examples, again, remembering that the 3 points are wanting proximity with an attachment figure, wanting them as a secure base, and wanting their comfort in times of distress. Some things that can create injuries across the lifespan would be dismissal or invalidation. So if you are experiencing some type of distress and you go to that attachment figure and they dismiss it, or they say that's not a big deal, and they don't provide you with that support and that comfort that you need, it can create an attachment injury. It can create a rupture in that system and in your relationship with that person. Isolation is another big one, coming back to that point about proximity. And so you could argue that this would be harder when you're younger versus older because that difference of physical proximity changes. But if you are physically isolated or emotionally isolated from someone, it is going to trigger that attachment system in a negative way. Other things like separation or divorce can be seen as a rupture or an injury to that secure base, to that secure foundation of your parents, of this relationship that you would like to believe is solid and concrete and something that you can always rely on. Other things would be like infidelity or cheating, lack of touch. So again, that physical proximity piece, ignoring communication. So if you feel like you're not actually being attended to when you need it, that can be really invalidating and really injuring to an attachment system. And then one other that I put on there that might need a bit more explanation is criticizing one's exploration. And so I'm thinking more so of people that are like older in adolescence or adult years, and that point again about having a secure base. So if you're trying something new, your body and your attachment system wants to have that secure base behind you. That's like, yep, go get it. I support you. I'm going to be here no matter what. And so I'm thinking of myself as well, of like I started this business a little over a year ago now, and that was extremely scary and challenging for me. And if I did not have a secure base, a person or people behind me that were supporting me and ready to go, I would not have felt as confident as I did taking this step and doing this very challenging, exploring thing. So as a contrast, if you are someone's attachment figure and they're trying something new or they're pursuing this new challenge and you criticize that, or you tell them like, oh, that's never going to work out, or you're never going to be able to do that, they no longer have that secure base, that person to look back to and be like, oh, okay, I have their support. So all of these things can create attachment injuries, and again, they can occur throughout the entire lifespan from birth to the moment that you die. So let me know if you want to know more about attachment injuries, or maybe what they result in, how they impact future relationships, or if there's anything else that stood out to you from this video. Let me know in the comments, and I will catch you guys on another episode of Baldwin Breakdowns. Bye.